part one. We did do some ab work and arm work upstairs. It's so sad but true. You lose 1% of your muscle tone every day you don't do something, right? Do something with that muscle. It doesn't mean you're not walking around or carrying groceries or moving stuff around, but if you're not paying attention to all angles of the derriere, if you're not doing more for the midsection, even those unpleasant but effective moves, it's gonna show. And then you have to go back to, the things that you know work. It is hard to, reduce calories, but you can eat responsibly, right? It is hard to, kind of deal with negative emotions, but I do believe there is something satisfying about making lists of tasks and getting through them, right? Maybe you don't get through everything in order, but you can cross things out and circle back and know that once you have a certain thing, you'll be able to circle back and do that other thing. And you have to count your blessings in the meantime. I have a friend who's dealing with an unpleasant breakup with someone who is suffering with substance issues. And, as much regret and pain and he owes her money, as she feels, I was telling her, she really has to be grateful that she is safe for the moment. She's gonna take steps to stay safe. She's not going to keep putting a lot of energy into these, ideas and battles and, trying to tell people who don't share her knowledge or opinion of the guy, it's not her responsibility to change all that. Her responsibility is to look at what it is, write it down like a bad investment, and move on as quickly as possible. I was saying, call those guys that were reaching out to you over the last 2 years. Just have a talk on the phone, have a lunch date, go for a walk. Something to get you out of this isolated silo where all you think about is this dude who did you very dirty. And, we've all had friends, co-workers, lovers go bad, right? In an instant you realize how treacherous, how, not committed they were, right? Knowledge is power. They change, you change. It's not about feeling bad, but, again, I feel like these hobosexuals, these survival smegs people, they have an instinct for a come up. They're gonna pick someone without a lot of, grown men around them, without a strong network. They're going to romance and put this into effect to make it seem like this oasis of pleasure and attention and all of this, when it's all, in the end, fraudulent. It was just a tool to separate her from the herd, get in her pockets, enjoy the things that, she pays for. And again, creators have told us for years on this platform about they need a warm bed, they need a full refrigerator, they need an address, they need your car, they need you to be their new mommy, right? And as endearing as that can seem, right? Another pet to go with the pets you already have. Isn't it wonderful when he's saying all the right things and reading you like a book and morphing into what you want him to be? As soon as that, settlement from disability or, the lottery or something like that, the come up comes, not in the form of a job. You don't want no job. As soon as that resource comes where he can drop you like a hot brick and leave you behind, that happens way too often. Now, the danger is, what happens when the big, pot of gold runs out? Then it's going to be crying on the phone and begging for another chance and da-da-da-da-da. I was like, you know what? That puts the urgency on so many things, right? Taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental health, your bills, but also, even if it's just one-off dates, getting yourself out there so that you're not having all your emotions invested in, well, what if he didn't mean it? And what if no. Actions speak louder than words. If he wanted to do right, he would have. And it has been weeks of abandonment and misery in that shock and awe way, which is a very intentional way of operating. It wasn't legitimately on the value and impact of the relationship. The relationship was a whole theater performance. And as soon as he didn't have to show up at curtain call and act it out, he was out. No apology, disappeared. I don't even want to tell you how much more awful it was than just disappearing, given the way and where he disappeared and how. But just know, if you've experienced any of this, friends, family, partner that turned out to be foes and are trying to really devastate you and hold you back from being your best you, just acknowledge that this is part of the human experience. Share it, seek out information that helps you understand it. Definitely don't internalize it. It's not personal. And my friend's been finding out about the restraining orders and incidents and things like that. The fact that she hopefully is in completely good health and gets to walk away from someone in a downward trend over years. This didn't just happen. The walking away has to be valued and treated like a great, great pleasure. Not everyone gets that pleasure. Not everyone benefits from being allowed to escape, right? Hopefully there is a very big period on the end of this sentence, right? But, I think that the action steps are taking care of yourself, moving forward, acknowledging how you've been duped, and not letting that happen again. Like, people need to prove themselves, right? You can give them time, you can be understanding, but at a certain point, like a fisherman, you gotta cut bait and swim on, right? Not every fish is a keeper. Not every dude is what he says he is. And once you figure out that there's fraud, not in an angry way, you just have to cut it off, right? Like a diseased limb, like a, I don't know, a skin tag, a wart. Just get rid of it, because it's not helping you. It's an ugly reality that it will not be missed once you move on from it. If nothing else, you can tell it as an insightful anecdote down the road, but not be bogged down and certainly not destroyed by it. Because, some people are Borgs. They go through the world and they seek and destroy. If you let them. Eyes open, that's always best. Let me switch machines and get all this cardio done. Thanks for joining me. See you soon on House of Tanya. Bye!